Alright, this is a QC audit for IDD Aerospace. This is job number 33694, but the original job number is 33185. Asphalt was done by Corey's crew on January 30th and 31st, and the concrete was done by Carlos on February 5th. So the curb, there's a bunch of curb spots and then a bunch of asphalt spots all walk over. As far as curb, I'm really impressed with the overall shape and layout of how everything was drawn and tied in. It does look like mix wise we had just a little bit of this kind of air pocket segregation coming in here and there, so I don't know if maybe it was a little bit dry. So let's make sure we're turning that pile and keeping it wet, and I'll go over that with Carlos. But I'm really impressed how the curb came out, and asphalt looks really great as well. So there's a tiny little patch in the front. This is that front area, and parking out here is insane. Little flow line patch here. Everything's flowing. Good job putting tar in all the saw cuts all the way. Got some temporary lines down for parking stalls. Another example of that curb just smushing out a little bit and just looking a little dry here. Got that material just put on, maybe not worked in quite well enough, which I think is maybe a moisture issue. But good job putting brakes in. There's plenty of brakes everywhere, and the overall shape is really good. I was very impressed with this. Nice and square, and good restoration and seed as well. Nice and square on the backside too, all the way down that run. This was an existing planter that we removed and turned into more parking. So as you can tell, they are slammed, every spot full. So this was a planter we removed and paved, and that was a planter that was removed and paved, and then curb back at both. The asphalt mat looks really good on everything. Honestly, this is a really nice looking job. We put some wheel stops here, also installed by Carlos. And then there's a giant patch in the back and a couple other small curb locations. There's one more curb coming up here. So tying into an overlaid area, this is a hand build coming out to about here, and it's a nice smooth transition. Ties in well, doesn't jump out that's going from 6-inch to 4-inch, and it really does look nice the way you transitioned that. But just these brakes that I'm really glad you put all the way, but make sure we're taking the mag and just smoothing this stuff down. This little bit of excess here where you put the curb brake in, just pull that back with the mag afterwards just a little bit, and that'll make those look a lot better. But again, as far as like coming out and square, like the ability to paint this out and stick to your lines and keep everything square makes it look really nice. So really applaud you guys on that. And then this starts the big patch coming down the back. Flow line here. Little tiny patch there in the parking stall. But I mean, tar looks good. Patch is smooth. Everything's flowing. A couple roller cut marks through here. I'm guessing a little bit of a base issue there. You can kind of see this seam popping out a little bit, but that's our big patch. Looks good, nice and flush. Great height on all these patches on the rake job. And then a little hand curb build there. Extending this out just a little bit and adding some curb right here. This is probably the only spot at all where we just wobbled out a little bit there. Yeah, just a hair kicked out on that back edge. And honestly, that's probably just putting that tamp corner on when you're magging, just bringing that angle in just a little bit would just square that up. But again, this is looking really great. I know this was a pretty picky customer and logistic wise tricky, and it looks awesome. Really great work. And the last stretch of curbs back here along this new asphalt we did. Same thing. Good even brakes all the way. And I mean, curb looks really good. Just again at these brakes, pulling that mix back with the mag afterward. And that's it. Nice job.